Okay, this is it. It looks like the moment of truth is arriving. Based on the latest reports we're getting right now, the Department of Justice of the Philippines is preparing a briefer, reportedly, for President Marcos Jr. to consider scenarios of potential arrest of former officials in the Duterte administration by the International Criminal Court. Moreover, there could be also a push by the Philippine government to rejoin the International Criminal Court, from which the Philippines controversially withdrew under the Duterte administration. As you know, there are questions as to its constitutionality and whether the Senate, which had ratified the Rome Statute, the treaty that allowed us to join the ICC, whether Duterte's unilateral withdrawal from that was valid to begin with. The constitutionality of that is also under question. Now, this is big. Although there are risks and perils ahead for Marcos Jr., this means that he is in a political sweet spot. He can do the right thing, which is to help ICC, not to mention also fight for the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea. And at the same time, he can also do something that is popular and politically convenient for him. Because in this case, surveys are showing that there's growing support for ICC investigations and potentially also issuance of warrants of arrest and justice on that front. There's also growing indication that the vast majority of Filipinos want the president to take a tougher stance in the West Philippine Sea. Importantly for Marcos Jr., he also now has a chance to strike a blow at the Dutertes, who are directly challenging him in one way or another. But this is where the real challenge lies. Pagdating sa Philippine media, I think it has done a fantastic job of exposing the brutality of the drug war under the Duterte administration. And we have fantastic works by world-class journalists like Patricia Evangelista, whose book has really shed light on the darkness at the heart of Duterte's drug war. But what we need is this, stories.
Yo quiero saber, señor presidente, es si mi hija está viva o muerta.
Lentamente, como para que no nos diéramos cuenta, una máquina
Of the victims. We need them to have their voice heard. There has to be a human face to the suffering and to the trauma of Duterte's legacy. More and more victims, their families, their children, their relatives have to come out. Dapat in-interview sila. Dapat marinig sila. The voiceless have to have a voice. That is extremely, extremely important. Because I think for all of the coverage of drug war in the past 6, 7, 8 years, not enough attention has been paid to the stories of the victims and their families per se. And this is something that we have to work on. History has shown us that there will not be any real democracy if there's no justice. And there will be no justice if there's no compassion. And to get the compassion of the majority of the Filipino people, they need to know about the human stories. They need to know about the human suffering here. It is important that their side of the story will be heard. And we saw in many post-dictatorship or post-mass atrocities countries very similar to us, like Argentina, it was very important for the people to hear from the victims and their families per se. And that was very crucial for them to make sure that there will be justice. So I believe that whether you're a journalist, you're a blogger, if you have platform, if you have a voice, give voice to the voiceless. Because this is going to be a crucial moment for Philippine democracy. This could be our chance to make sure that we come to terms with the horrible, dark past. After all, let's not forget, this is not only about politics, House of Duterte versus House of Marcos. It's not about abstract principles. It's not about sovereignty, of whether we're going to protect our sovereignty against an international body. Those are just excuses to avoid accountability and justice. This is about concrete lives of real fellow Filipinos. This is about human suffering. This is about justice. And this is about shaming those who try to justify the wicked and to condemn the righteous. It's about shaming them into conscience and bringing them back into the fold of democracy, pluralism, and humanity.